There is a time for thunder and there's a time for stillness. The world may crave your noise, but your power lies in your silence. Focus on yourself, not because the world is unworthy of your attention, but because your spirit is worthy of your full devotion. Let others run loud with chatter and show. You run deep, grow roots. You are not here to impress, you are here to become. While they post, you practice. While they boast, you build. While they race, you rise. Quietly, steadily, beautifully, focus on yourself. Your path isn't meant to be compared. It's meant to be walked, with your head held high and your heart tuned inward. Don't rush to reveal your becoming. Not everyone is ready to see your bloom. Some only understand the seed when it becomes a forest. Stay silent, not out of fear, but out of fire. Your silence is not weakness. It is wisdom. It is the knowing that not every move needs an announcement. Not every victory needs a witness. Let them wonder. Let them whisper. Let your results speak in a language louder than your words. There is a certain kind of magic in the person who minds their own becoming, who learns in the shadows, who sharpens in solitude, who walks with peace, not pride. Focus on yourself. Stay silent. Because one day the world will hear your name, but only after it sees your work. And when that day comes, you won't need to say a word. You'll simply arrive, whole, unshaken, and undeniable. Self-growth begins in silence. Not in the noise of applause, not in the storm of opinions, not in the clamor of expectation. It begins in the quiet, in the stillness where no one is watching, where no one is praising, where no one is criticizing. Growth starts in the moments when you sit with yourself unguarded and honest. When the world turns its back or simply looks the other way, that is when your soul begins to speak. Silence is not emptiness. It is a mirror. In that mirror, you come face to face with who you truly are, not who you've pretended to be for the comfort of others. It is in this sacred hush where all masks fall away. You are no longer your achievements, your failures, or your titles. You are just you, raw, real, evolving. In the silence, your wounds rise to the surface, asking to be healed. Old pain, long buried beneath the distractions of life, finally dares to speak. And you, no longer running, begin to listen. You don't push it away. You don't numb it with noise or escape. You sit with it. You breathe through it. You learn what it came to teach. That's growth. Silence becomes your teacher, your compass, your companion. It teaches patience when the world screams for urgency. It teaches observation when the world races for reaction. It teaches clarity when the world offers confusion. And most of all, it teaches presence, being fully rooted in where you are, not rushing ahead or running back. Growth is not a performance. It is not glamorous. It doesn't come with confetti or validation. It is quiet. It is subtle. It is slow and sometimes painful. A caterpillar doesn't announce its transformation. It disappears. It retreats. It wraps itself in stillness. And within that cocoon, hidden, unseen, it unravels completely, breaks down all it once was, and rebuilds. When it reemerges, it is something entirely new. That is what silence does. It holds you while you dissolve and rebuild. The world often misunderstands silence. It assumes you are idle or lost. But those who truly grow know silence is where you become. It is where discipline is born, where self-respect takes root, where purpose starts to whisper. It is in silence that you hear your inner voice more clearly, uncluttered by the chaos outside. You begin to trust that voice. You begin to trust yourself. There is power in choosing silence when others are choosing noise. Not every thought needs to be shared. Not every step needs to be seen. Some of the most profound transformations happen quietly, in the privacy of your own being. You read, you journal, you reflect, you cry in hidden corners. You pick yourself back up in the dark. You make choices no one sees. You say no to things that once tempted you. You say yes to things that scare you. And with each choice, each small shift, you grow. And that growth, it shows up in the way you walk into a room, in the way your energy speaks before your mouth does, in the way you no longer chase what isn't meant for you, in the way you let go without anger, in the way you hold yourself with grace with quiet confidence, with peace. You don't need to explain your silence. You don't need to defend your focus. Let others wonder. Let them guess. Let your progress echo in the things you no longer tolerate, in the boundaries you now protect, in the peace you fiercely guard. Self-growth is not a destination, it's a lifelong unfolding. And silence is the soil in which it blooms. So when life gets too loud, when opinions cloud your vision, when the pressure to prove becomes too heavy, step back. Return to your stillness. Return to yourself. The world may not understand your quiet, but that's all right. You are not growing for them. You are growing for you. And in the end, it is that silent, sacred journey inward that will lead you to the life you've always been meant to live. Energy is sacred. It is the invisible current that powers your thoughts, your choices, your direction. It flows through your body, through your words, through the way you love and the way you fight. It is not unlimited. It is not something you can give away carelessly and expect it to return untouched. Every time you give your energy to something that does not honor you, you lose a little of your light. Every time you spend your time explaining yourself to someone committed to misunderstanding you, you pour yourself into a hole with no bottom. There is nothing more precious than your energy. Not your time, not your talent, not even your words, because it is energy that fuels all of them. It is your energy that gives color to your presence, depth to your voice, and purpose to your life. And when that energy is drained, dimmed, or scattered, everything else begins to fade with it. Protecting your energy is not selfish, it is necessary. Just as a fire cannot keep burning without fuel, you cannot keep giving, doing, or becoming without tending to your inner flame. There comes a time in your life when you stop offering your energy to arguments that lead nowhere. When you stop chasing approval from people who never see you clearly. When you stop explaining your dreams to people who have never dreamed at all. That's not arrogance. That's wisdom. That's knowing your worth without shouting it. Not everything deserves your response. Not every invitation is meant to be accepted. Not every conversation needs your participation. There is a quiet power in choosing where you pour your energy. There is strength in walking away, not because you are defeated, but because you are divine. Because you have recognized that your peace is priceless and your attention is currency. Not everyone can afford you. You must learn to feel the shift. The moment a space no longer feels alive. The moment a person drains you more than they pour into you. The moment a task pulls you further from yourself rather than closer to your purpose. Honor that feeling. That feeling is your spirit speaking. That feeling is your protection. Listen, you don't need permission to step back. You don't need to justify your silence. You are allowed to preserve yourself. You are allowed to say no. You are allowed to close your doors, not out of bitterness, but out of balance. Energy flows where intention goes. If your mind is cluttered with worry, your body will feel it. If your heart is tangled in regret or resentment, your path will reflect it. To protect your energy is to clear your space, to choose your thoughts with care, to guard your heart like the treasure is. Not everyone deserves access to your soft places. Not everyone can be trusted with your truth. Some people will try to pull you into their chaos, not because they mean harm, but because they have not learned how to be still with themselves. But you are not obligated to carry what is not yours. You are not required to heal others at the cost of your own well-being. You can love from a distance, so you can care without becoming consumed. You can hold space without losing yourself inside someone else's storm. Choose your peace. Choose your healing. Choose your growth. Let go of what no longer aligns with who you're becoming. Your energy is a gift. Use it for your dreams, your passions, your well-being. Spend it on books that light you up, on conversations that lift you higher, on people who see your light and reflect it back. Give it to the version of yourself you are working so hard to create. Every moment is a transaction. You are either investing in your future or draining yourself into your past. Let your energy speak for you. Let your boundaries be your protection, not your prison. And let your silence be the proof that you have chosen yourself. Energy is sacred, and so are you. Guard it, nurture it, respect it, and watch your life begin to rise. Silence is strength. It is not weakness. It is not retreat. And it is never an absence of power. It is the full presence of control. The quiet decision to rise above chaos without needing to shout over it. In a world that measures confidence by volume, silence is often misunderstood. But those who know, truly know, understand that there is more courage in a calm breath than in a loud reaction. To remain silent when your name is being questioned takes more strength than answering back. To keep your peace when the world demands your anger is not passivity, it is wisdom. It is the refusal to be pulled out of character by those who don't even know your story. It is choosing clarity over noise, choosing depth over drama. Not every battle is yours to fight. Not every insult requires a response. Not every misunderstanding needs correction. There is grace in letting people carry their own confusion, their own projections, their own assumptions. Because in the end, what they think of you is a reflection of what you choose to respond to. That is a reflection of you. There's something powerful about the person who does not flinch at provocation, the one who doesn't explain their every move, the one who knows their value and feels no pressure to prove it. That kind of person moves differently. They walk through storms with calm eyes. They sit at tables with their mouth closed and their spirit awake. They don't waste time in places that drain them. They don't pour words into ears that aren't listening. Silence is not the absence of a voice. It's the presence of self-mastery. It's the choice to withhold, not because you are afraid, but because you are grounded, because you have nothing to prove, because you are not here to perform. You've learned that not all truth needs to be spoken at once, that timing matters, that sometimes the most powerful statement you can make is the one you don't speak at all. There's a certain kind of power that builds when you practice restraint. A deep inner stillness that grows stronger the less you react. And that stillness, it sharpens you. It teaches you how to observe instead of absorb. It gives you space to feel without crumbling, to think without rushing, to respond without regret. People often think that silence is passive, that it is standing still. But it's not. It's waiting. It's listening for what's real beneath what's loud. And when you learn to sit in your silence, you begin to see things others miss. You hear the dishonesty in sweet words. You sense the truth behind someone's silence. You catch the shift in energy before a word is even spoken. The strongest people are not the ones who win arguments. They are the ones who know when to walk away from them. They are the ones who know that real power isn't in being right, but in being free. Free from needing validation. Free from trying to fix what was never theirs to carry. Free from the noise of ego, pride, and petty reactions. Silence lets you return to yourself. It gives your mind room to breathe and your heart space to heal. It offers sanctuary from the opinions, the expectations, and the constant pull of performance. And in that space, you begin to remember who you are without the world shouting over your spirit. Some of the strongest moments in life are the ones no one sees. The moments when you chose not to respond, when you stood still and let the storm pass, when you swallowed the pain and used it to grow root, when you held your dignity like armor and didn't let your emotions spill onto people who didn't earn your vulnerability. This is not silence born from fear. This is silence born from fire, from discipline, from deep self-respect. It is the kind of silence that says, I know who I am, and I do not need your permission to be it. So when the noise rises, when people try to bait you into battles that are beneath you, when the world demands your reaction, remember this: silence is power. Silence is presence. And you in your stillness are more commanding than any scream, because real strength doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers, sometimes it waits, and sometimes it simply stands tall and says nothing at all. Comparison kills peace, quietly, slowly, almost invisibly. It begins with a glance, a thought, a whisper in the mind. Look at them. Look at what they have. Look at how far ahead they are. And before you even realize it, you are no longer looking at your own path. You are no longer rooted in your own story. You are chasing shadows and measuring your worth with someone else's ruler. It is a cruel trick of the mind, this idea that someone else's success diminishes your own, that their light somehow makes yours dimmer. But peace does not live in that space. Peace is not found in someone else's timeline. It is not born from someone else's approval. It lives quietly within you, nurtured not by how you compare, but by how you connect to your own truth. When you begin to compare, you lose sight of the beauty in your own journey. You forget that your pace is sacred, that your story is being written with perfect timing. You begin to feel behind, unworthy, less than, when in truth, you are simply walking a different path. A path that is yours and yours alone. A path that will never make sense if you keep looking at someone else's footsteps. The world does not benefit from everyone being the same. There is no glory in being a copy. The power lies in authenticity, in being exactly who you are, where you are. You were not born to replicate. You were born to create, to rise in your own way, in your own rhythm, by your own design. But comparison blinds you to that. It tells you that your joy must look like theirs, that your definition of success should match theirs, that your milestones are only meaningful if they happen on the same schedule. And that is how peace begins to erode, quietly, cruelly, with every thought that says, you are not enough. You must protect your peace by guarding your focus. Turn inward. Look at the person you were yesterday. That is the only version of you that deserves comparison. Are you more patient? Are you kinder to yourself? Have you grown even a little? Those are the questions that bring peace, because they honor your growth, not your competition. Everyone is on a different timeline. Some start early, some rise later, some bloom in their 20s, others in their 40s, and some not until the sunset years of their lives. There is no right way to become. No fixed schedule for success, for love, for healing, for purpose. The clock that guides your journey was set for you and you alone. The people you compare yourself to, they have their own silent struggles, their own hidden wounds. No matter how polished their lives look from the outside, you do not see the full picture. You do not see their nights of doubt, their inner battles, the things they long for, but never say. And if you could, you might not envy them at all. Because comparison paints a false image, highlighting the glit. You don't need to race anyone. You are not behind. You are not late. You are becoming slowly, beautifully, exactly as you were meant to. And the moment you stop comparing, you begin to breathe again. You begin to feel again. You begin to see all that is already right with your life. You begin to see you. Peace is not found in achieving what others have. Peace is found in appreciating what you've already built, what you're still building, and what you're patiently waiting for. It's found in the quiet trust that your life doesn't need to match anyone else's to be meaningful, that your joy can be small and still be real, that your pace can be slow and still be strong. Comparison is a thief. It steals your gratitude. It clouds your vision. It tells you that happiness lives out there in someone else's story, but peace lives in the decision to turn away from the noise, to look inward with softness, and to say, this is my path, and I will honor it, and so protect that peace. Stop measuring your worth with borrowed scales. The only person you need to become is the truest version of yourself. And when you finally stop comparing, you'll find that you were never behind. You were always becoming in your own time, in your own way. And that is more than enough. Your actions are your voice, louder than any words you could ever speak, more convincing than any promise you could ever make. In a world that thrives on talk, that rewards appearance, that clings to empty declarations, it is your behavior that reveals who you truly are. Not what you say, not what you post, not what you claim, but what you do consistently, quietly, honestly. People may forget what you said. They may misunderstand what you meant, but they will always remember how you made them feel. They will remember how you showed up, whether you followed through, whether your presence matched your promises. It's easy to talk about values. It's easy to say, I care, I'll change, I'm different. But words don't build trust. Actions do. You don't have to announce your integrity. You live it. You don't have to argue about your intentions. You demonstrate them. And when your actions are aligned with your truth, you don't need to explain yourself. People feel it. Your actions tell the world what matters to you. They show where your priorities are, where your discipline lives, what you're willing to fight for, and what you'll walk away from. You can speak about peace all day, but how do you treat people in private? You can write about love and healing, but how do you act when no one's watching? That is the real voice of your soul. You don't need to convince anyone of who you are. You don't need to defend your character or seek validation from those who cannot see your heart. Your life will speak for itself. And it will speak through your consistency, your effort, your small daily choices. Every action is a declaration. Every choice is a statement. You are telling the world, this is what I believe, this is what I value, this is who I choose to be, whether you realize it or not. So choose with care. Move with intention. Let your life be your message, not your words. There is a quiet power in those who do what they say they will, who move with grace, not for recognition, but from a deep desire to live in alignment. Their actions are rooted, steady, unshaken by applause or judgment. These people don't shout about who they are. They simply show up, and that is enough. Your actions shape your relationship. They tell the people you love whether or not you're truly present. You can say, I love you 1,000 times, but if your presence is distant, if your care is inconsistent, the words begin to lose meaning. Love is not found in grand declarations. It is found in the small intentional moments. The check-in calls, the forgiveness, the patience, the effort. Your actions shape your future. Every day, with every decision, you are casting a vote for the person you want to become. You don't become strong by thinking about it. You become strong by showing up on the days you feel like it, and especially on the days you don't. You don't build confidence by pretending. You build it by keeping the promises you make to yourself one quiet step at a time. You don't need to tell people you're growing. Just grow. Let your progress speak through your boundaries. Let your healing speak through your peace. Let your change speak through your new habits, your new circles, your new mindset. The people who are meant for you will see it. The ones who aren't won't need an explanation. Let your life become so aligned with your truth that you no longer feel the need to prove it. Let your kindness be unannounced. Let your strength be unshakable. Let your words be fewer, but your impact louder. Speak less of what you plan to do, and simply do. Speak less of what you believe in, and let it show in how you treat others, in how you care for yourself, in how you walk through the world. Your actions are your voice. Make sure they speak with clarity, with purpose, with love. Because in the end, your legacy won't be built on what you say. It will be built on what you did. Let me know if you'd like this styled for a video script, podcast voiceover, or woven into a longer motivational piece. Still waters run deep. There is something sacred about quiet people. Something powerful about the souls who don't rush to speak, who don't move for attention, who aren't loud about their presence, but carry a depth that pulls you in the longer you sit with them. They may not demand the room, but they anchor it. They are the steady hands, the calm hearts, the clear eyes that see far beneath the surface. In a world that celebrates noise, stillness is often mistaken for emptiness. But stillness is not empty. It is full of thought, of feeling, of wisdom. The quiet ones are often the ones who have felt the most, seen the most, and endured the most. They don't speak everything they know because they have learned the difference between noise and truth, between reaction and response, between talking and meaning. Still waters are not shallow. They are not lacking in emotion or strength. In fact, they are often the ones carrying the most weight. They are the people who have fought battles in silence, who have healed without announcement, who have grown without needing recognition. You look at them and you may not see the fire, but it burns quietly, consistently, deeply. These are the souls who have learned how to carry their storms with grace. They know what it means to be misunderstood and to keep walking. They know the pain of holding back tears in rooms where they had to be strong. They've been overlooked, not because they were lacking, but because they didn't shout their worth. And yet, they rise softly, steadily, with a strength that doesn't need to be loud to be real. Still waters don't rush. They are patient. They are observant. They see what others miss. They feel more than they say, but what they do say is full of weight. They speak only when it adds something real, something meaningful. And when they do speak, you listen, because you know it's coming from a place of reflection, not reaction. There is courage in stillness, the kind of courage that doesn't show up in the spotlight, but in the quiet decisions made alone. The courage to walk away without explanation. The courage to forgive without an apology. The courage to change without seeking approval. The courage to start again after being broken without making it a show. Still waters have learned the art of holding space for others, holding dreams that no one else sees, holding themselves together when everything is falling apart. And that kind of holding builds a depth that no surface noise can match. They may not be the ones with the most followers, the most applause, or the most recognition, but they are the ones people come to when the world gets too loud, too chaotic, too uncertain, because their peace is contagious. Their presence healing. You don't need to shout to be powerful. You don't need to be seen to be impactful. Stillness has a strength that chaos can't touch. It is unbothered by attention. It is unmoved by trends. It flows quietly, but it shapes mountains over time. It is steady, like the ocean depths far below the surface where real change happens, where real life begins. Still waters are often the ones who've been shaken, and in that shaking, they learn what truly matters. They let go of the need to prove, to perform, to please. They found peace in being real, in being whole, in being present. Their strength doesn't come from being loud. It comes from being rooted. So if you are quiet, don't mistake it for weakness. If you move slowly, don't confuse it with being behind. If your heart feels too deep for this fast, shallow world, know that your depth is your gift. Your stillness is your superpower. You are not missing out. You are building something unshakable, something real, something that cannot be taken from you. Still waters run deep. They are not for everyone to understand, but they are for those who are ready to feel, to listen, to grow. Let your silence carry you. Let your calmness guide you. Let your depth be your power. Because in a world full of noise, chaos, and surface, you are the quiet depth, the place where truth lives. And that is more powerful than anything loud could ever be. So remember this: when the world grows loud, when distractions pull at your peace and expectations try to reshape your path, return to yourself. Focus on your own becoming, not in arrogance, but in awareness. In the quiet spaces where your growth begins, where your dreams unfold, and where your strength is quietly born, stay silent, not because you have nothing to say, but because you are learning, building, and becoming something that doesn't need to be explained. Let your silence speak of your power. Protect your energy like the sacred fire it is. Don't give it away to things that drain you, to people who don't value it, or to battles that don't deserve you. What you give your energy to becomes your life. Choose with wisdom. And know this: silence is not weakness. It is not emptiness. It is the calm in the storm, the stillness of the mountain, the sign of a spirit rooted deeply in self-worth. When you stop comparing, you find your peace again. You see yourself not through the lens of others, but through the truth of your own eyes. And in that space, you are free. Let your actions be your voice. Not your explanations, not your posts, not your promises, but your quiet consistency, your discipline, your grace. Let who you are speak louder than anything you say, because still waters run. And those who walk in silence, who grow without seeking attention, who live without shouting, carry a depth, a strength, and a presence that cannot be faked. You don't need to prove yourself to the world. Just become, just rise, just evolve. And when the time is right, the world will feel you without you ever needing to say a word.